Welcome back to the King Post YouTube channel and podcast. I'm your host, Jamal Thompson. I am with,
You're with Roger.
and this is the Art of MMA. We're almost caught up on the podcast now. I've gotten everything back on Spotify almost. I think I have like
Nice.
15 more videos for us to be one for one. We
Okay.
appreciate the support on the podcast. In the time that we
Yes.
were gone, we've accrued like 500 or 600 listens
Nice.
throughout all the other pods. So we're going to be more active for y'all who are listening audio only. But we've been gone for a couple of weeks, and we're going to utilize this time in this pod to kind of catch up on some of the fights we enjoyed on the previous cards. And also look to UFC Fight Night Serbia, the first fight night in Serbia, headlined by our boy the Voya play, Euros Medic. But we'll get there. But before we get there, let's go back to some of the previous fights.
Yes.
I know one of the ones we talked about at length was the Usman versus Duplessis fight and how that could kind of make a little bit of a divot in the middleweight title contention. Obviously, Usman has a win over Strickland. He figured he'd be able to get that back if he was able to beat Duplessis, who has fought Strickland twice, right?
Yeah.
And figured this was set up for him to be a third fight if he had a dominant performance. I watched the fight. You watched the fight. It's been at least a week and a half since I've watched the fight.
Yep.
How do you feel about the result?
I thought, the result was clear.
Yes.
Duplessis dominated the fight. Just straight domination. I can see where somebody might say Usman took a round. I did not see it the way Usman did when he was surprised that he only might have gotten one round.
Felt that was a bit performative for sure.
As far as the actual fight goes, I thought going into it that Usman was going to make Duplessis look more Duplessis, and Duplessis would get dominated by the wrestling of Usman. What actually happened was Duplessis made Usman look like Duplessis. The punches were not crisp. They were not, and credit to Duplessis on this. Duplessis is long, and Duplessis was throwing them right down the pipe. He didn't have a whole lot of round, hooks and stuff like that. I mean, he threw them, but most of them were straight down the middle, keeping Usman at bay. The knees were killing Usman. It was a great game plan. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure that Usman can shoot the way he used to shoot, which I think was holding him back from the wrestling in the same style of wrestling as Chimaev does that took Duplessis down. I don't think we got to see a whole lot of takedown defense. Usman made a few attempts that were kind of they're low risk attempts. He made one or two that were really going, and Duplessis stood up to him just fine. But as far as the fight went, Duplessis used that length, and I think that and his just sheer size was big. Usman was a large welterweight. He is a small middleweight. These guys now, like he might have been able to do middleweight back when Anderson Silva was doing it. Even Chael Sonnen, who had fought at 205 some. But for Duplessis, for Duplessis coming down from, what's he come down from, 230, 240?
Yeah, Duplessis looked larger than him in there, which I didn't really expect.
For him to come down that far, that's just a sheer size. And there's other middleweights that do the same thing. Costa was doing that. And De Ritter is probably doing some of that. A lot of these guys are going to be a lot bigger. Chimaev is kind of the outlier that doesn't come down from as far. So the fight could be a little closer with Usman and Chimaev because Chimaev is not quite as big. But he just looked outclassed out there, and I don't think it's because Usman in his prime would have been outclassed. I think Usman in his prime probably could have won that fight. I don't think you have Usman in his prime anymore. it's one of those things. I hate to say, he should retire because if he likes to fight and he wants to keep fighting, then, keep fighting. But I just don't think those high level title shots at middleweight are going to be there for him.
I do think there's a mobility issue. We talked about the
Yeah.
lack of flexibility in his knees when he was out there. It's the weirdest, like, I don't even call it a stance, but he was kind of bouncing around with his legs straight.
Hmm.
And again, lack of shooting. We both believe the path to victory for him was to try to keep Duplessis on his back, kind of like
Yeah.
Hamzat did. Um, he is a smaller middleweight. Even though he looked very poor in the performance, I was just as disappointed in Duplessis' performance as well. Like he did what he needed to do. He kept Usman on the end of the jab. He hit him with some strong shots.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, stayed upright for most of the rounds. But when round 4 and 5 hit, and he's talking about feeling Usman's aura, to me that felt like a cop out. I don't think there was much aura to be felt. I think there was desperation. I think Usman was just trying to get something going, maybe have some
Hmm.
moment happen. And it didn't really work out in his favor. I'm on board with the retirement talks because he doesn't look explosive.
Yeah.
And even his like striking game looks like it's regressed. Like
Hmm.
it looked
Yeah.
very out of sorts out there.
Yeah.
Um, and what else are we chasing? It comes to a point where you're like, there needs to be enough reward for the risk. Are you going to put him against younger fighters and see if he could? He won against Buckley, but
Hmm.
now it looks like he literally gave the blueprint to how to beat Buckley because the next fight for Buckley looked even more horrific than the Usman fight, right? Just being
Yeah.
ridden on his back by Brady for round after round after round. Um, I think he could do well in the commentary game, but I do
Oh,
think
yeah.
the knees are shot, and I think we could call it a career at that. Maybe you get him one more in there. If he could cut to welterweight one last time, and then get to the point where again he's bigger than the guy
Yeah.
he's fighting, and they give him a favorable matchup. That's the only thing I'd be really willing to watch Usman in at this point. Um, but again, he didn't get finished by Duplessis, and maybe that
Yeah.
is more of an indictment on him. Like maybe he is still a little bit game, and the next Duplessis fight we see, if he goes out there and performs extremely well, we'll be doing the same thing we did when Usman fought Hamzat on short notice, and then Hamzat continued his run, and they're like, how did Usman survive him on short notice?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
could get built up off the back of somebody else just reascending to where they were. So,
Yeah.
um, I was a little bit disappointed in the performance by both men, but I think if anything, Duplessis needs another fight before he calls for a rematch. Um, Duplessis, Brendan Allen, which if I'm Brendan Allen, I'm not really trying to do that. Uh,
Why not?
because I've been taking fights in and around the top 10 for enough time now, right? I mean, didn't he just take a fight against who was it? It was a
A
very
guy who
silly
wasn't
fight.
even in, but he
Yeah,
wasn't even in the top 10, was he?
I don't know. I remember it was a very odd fight because we questioned
Yeah.
the
'Cause
matchmaking.
I think it was,
Um,
oh gosh, I forget the guy. I forget who it
Shabazin,
was.
was it Shabazin or
Shabazin.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't even know that he was in the top 15 and he took that fight.
yeah. I don't understand
Um,
what the point was for Brendan Allen right there, but he won it,
yeah.
right? So
So
I
I
guess
think he
I
should
guess
take a fight like that
I guess
because,
I'll turn back on what I said, and yeah, Duplessis fight could be the fight if they promise that if you win that, you're at least
hmm,
asked to cut as a backup, right?
yeah,
Imavov has his stock ascend without even fighting.
yeah,
So he's there just
absolutely.
waiting. Um, yeah, I think the next fight to make in the division, if it's not a rematch with Hamzat, is an Imavov Strickland fight.
Oh,
Uh,
Imavov
and
needs that title
and that's
shot.
where we're at right now.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
Imavov needs that title shot. I think he's next up. I think he's been next up. The reason he hasn't gotten the shot yet, I don't know. I can't imagine. They do this a lot sometimes, where you just don't know the reason why somebody's not given a shot. Um,
I mean, the last Strickland
Um,
Imavov fight wasn't like necessarily exciting. I mean, he won,
well,
but
it's not exciting, but that's the next guy up, and he's been the next guy for a little while now.
yeah,
Um, it's kind of like Evloev. Evloev was the next guy up for a while, and I
Sarukian.
think they're finally going to make it now.
Yeah,
But some of these guys are not fun to watch, and so it's hard to put them in that spot. You
no,
know?
for sure. Um, Speaking of fun to watch, I definitely I don't want to say disrespected, but I underestimated somebody on that same card, Tommy McMillan versus Alberto Montez. I was heavy
Yeah.
on the Montez side, saying that the fighter that I saw in his debut
Hmm.
looked very sloppy, looked very willing
Yeah.
to put himself in bad positions to have an exciting fight. And Tommy
Hmm.
was calculated, and Tommy was active, and Tommy's hands
Yeah.
were flying.
Hmm.
Um, Precise.
Yeah.
He just wore Alberto Montez down for 3 straight
Yeah.
rounds. Broke the significant strike record for that weight class in a 3 round fight by a lot. I think
Hmm.
he beat Max Holloway's record. That you shouldn't take that very lightly.
No.
like,
No. Not at
um,
all.
so I was impressed. I have to reassess some things with him because maybe that first fight he just knew he wasn't in danger, so he allowed some things to be what they were.
Right.
Um, he definitely fought this one in a way that I am more interested in seeing somebody like him fight. When you're going up in talent, and I am back to being excited about the prospects of what he can be
Yeah.
in that division. Um, so yeah, obviously there are other great performances on there. Fatima Klein dominated Baby Shark.
Hmm.
That was a great fight.
Yeah.
Hooper got his first round sub. He avoided, an exchange. And once he got the dude on the ground, he went back to doing what he does best. Um, and yeah, I'd say the Usman Duplessis card was pretty interesting. I'm gonna shout out Verdict MMA again because I think I went 11 for 12 on that card. Um, so please follow us on Verdict MMA. I'm all from Kick and Post. The hit rates have been like close to 90 to 95% on the last 3 cards. Speaking of the last 3 cards, last week we had um what's the main fight again? We got to go back and look. We had not Jan Blachowicz. We had Ankalaev versus Guskov. Guskov on short notice. And the fights from that card that I want to bring to the forefront to start is one. I do want to get into our Sam Patterson win. I think he looked great in the round and a half that he fought.
Yeah.
Um, he does leave himself in danger a little bit, but unfortunately for Santiago Ponzinibbio, I think the sun is set on his career a little bit.
Yeah.
They're using him for what you would figure a guy who was once ranked,
Hmm.
to try to ascend younger fighters, and Patterson did what he was supposed to do. A great little boxing combination to get him out of there. Followed by Muhammad Saeed versus Dustin Jacoby. I did have Saeed by second round knockout. Again,
Did you?
follow us on Verdict of MMA. The hit rates have been pretty nice recently. The combination, insane. Insane. To be
Yes.
able to do that at the light heavyweight stance, the what was it? It was like a right hook into a left head kick or a reverse of that.
I think it was a straight right.
Yeah, straight right into a left head kick.
Straight
Um,
right. And as he's going in, he takes that step forward,
yeah,
which sets him up with one step in between to throw that kick.
yeah.
Saeed, I want to go back to Tommy McMillan for a second, in a
Okay,
bit,
good.
um, but first, Saeed, wild puncher,
Mm-hmm,
and he might have been setting Jacoby up with that. He was throwing some wild, just overhands and hooks, but his
mm-hmm.
feet stayed crisp the whole time. I think he's one of those guys. He's got short legs, um, but he's actually got massive legs. Did you notice that? He has
Yeah,
like really massive legs for
chunks.
his body type. Yeah.
Yeah,
But he can throw a kick almost like Justin Gaethje can. He does not have to be far away from you to throw a kick. Um, and he manages that distance well. And I wonder if he set just Dustin Jacoby up with those wild hits so that he could throw that straight and get it through, because he was not. They didn't look good in the first round. Those
No.
hooks, and I was like, "What is going on?" I mean, he can kick, but his hands are not. And then he just landed that straight right down the middle and followed it up with that kick and got him. That was very impressive. He was super
It was a
fast.
beautiful exchange.
And he got him with head kicks a couple of times.
Mhm.
He was very good. As far as Tommy McMillan goes, I just looked at one of his bios here because I thought they said that he was a California state wrestling champ. And Montez is no slouch grappling. And so I thought that's where Montez would have that, but I didn't know that about Tommy McMillan. I just looked it up. He started boxing very early in life, and he started wrestling at like 3 years old.
Mhm.
So the idea that somebody's going to come in and have a huge grappling advantage against him in the future is something that 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 is going to be hard to reconcile with me from here on out. I mean, obviously, guys went to higher levels and did that. I mean, you're talking about um, a high school credential, right?
Yeah.
But there's guys that have been a lot further. But when you've done it since you're 3, you've you know
There's some
what you're
second
doing.
nature stuff in there. There's some
Yeah,
stuff that
you know
you
what you
yeah.
you know what you're doing. And the fact that he can use his hands like that, and you've got
Yeah.
both at a pretty high level. And there's nobody in the UFC that looks more like a serial killer than him. I mean, the guy's got fighter written all over him.
Oh, no, he definitely
Um,
matches the aura of a fighter,
yeah, so
especially
he's
prize
gonna
fighter.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we got another guy on this upcoming card that kind of looks that way as well. And we'll talk about him coming up.
Mhm.
But I think he's going to be a person that is going to go pretty far, and he's probably got championship material written on him. Now, whether he ever gets there or not, it's a different story.
It's a
But I
tough
think he's
division
got
to
the
get
full
there in.
potential to get there.
Yeah.
So he does leave himself open to get hit, but so he could have
Again,
some
I think he
hiccups
fought a
along the
lot more
way.
calculated this one though. I
Oh,
was
he was.
surprised
Yeah,
because I thought he was
yeah.
just going to go in there and again he spoke lowly of Montez and he
Hmm.
hyped up the fight and stuff and he said he was in there pretty much just breaking his spirit, calling him all type of B words and uh, all the lot. He was just wearing him
Yeah,
down and saying like, "Stop
yeah,
this, stop me from beating you," like literally
yeah,
demoralizing the kid in
yeah,
there while putting hundreds of punches on him. Um, if he's gonna fight that way, I will reassess some stuff going forward as somebody who picks
yeah.
fights because I think that was the one fight that I picked the fighter wrong.
Really.
And I
Yeah,
stand by it for what I was looking at from the previous fight.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
but I was
Montez
so
is not a
wrong.
bad fighter. Montez is
Exactly.
a good fighter, a great prospect.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we'll see what comes of both guys after this.
yeah.
We covered Muhammad Saeed second. I also took
Hmm.
Walter Walker by first round sub. No surprise there. 5 straight subs for Walter Walker. He went for the heel
Hmm.
hook. He ended up with a calf slice. He likes feet. What
Yes.
what else can I say?
Called out Herb Dean.
He called out he called out Herb Dean, and he also wants to fight Gable Stevenson. He wants to fight everybody. So um, I'm not gonna get in the guy's way at all.
No.
Kanaev
Um.
has a nice little round 3 win against Tyrell Fortune.
Yep.
Um, I think it was solid. I don't really have too many notes on that. I do have a lot of notes on the last 3 fights of that card, though.
Okay.
It seems like you had something you wanted to talk about first, though. Go ahead.
So Walter Walker,
Yes.
5 fights in the UFC. No, 6 fights in the UFC. 5 of them by a leg
Submission won by
submission.
TKO.
Yeah, a leg submission.
Yeah.
He's ranked in the top 10, I believe.
Yes.
He has not fought anyone ranked in the top 10, to my knowledge. He needs to fight competition.
Yes.
And I would not be mad at a Gable Stevenson fight. I would not be mad at that at all. I would take that all day long. But if it's not Gable Stevenson, put him against somebody around that 5 ranking, 5 to 10. I mean, we've put people up there for less. I mean, Josh Hokett fought the number 4 guy on a lot
Well,
less
that's where
than,
I was going with
you
this.
know,
Actually, is that number 4 guy who is now number 7 is fighting Waldo Acosta, I think, coming up here. And then after that, whoever loses that, I would be willing to put against a Walter Walker. Because I think if he loses to Waldo Acosta, he'll probably be like 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
I would put him against
Yeah.
Walter Walker at that point. Which I'm
I mean,
predicting Curtis Blaze to get beat by Waldo Acosta.
yeah,
Just to give an early prediction.
it's a shallow division, and when
It
you've got
is.
5 wins like that, um,
And it's marketable wins.
yeah, absolutely marketable wins. He's about to open up a place in Russia. So, I mean, the guys over there in Abu Dhabi talking about the gym he's about to open up. He hosted a big event in Brazil. The guy's building a name for himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he's undefeated in this. You got to put him against somebody who's
Give him
going to
somebody
be
real.
competition for him.
Give him
So,
somebody real.
and then what was the other fight we talked about? Walter
Kanaev
Walker, Kanaev. Yeah.
said, yeah, he got a
Did
good
you
finish in that one.
did you see in between the corner of rounds 2 and 3?
Mm-mm.
His corner, in my opinion, should have stopped the fight in between rounds 2 and 3.
Kanaev's?
Yeah. Uh, Fortune's corner should have stopped it.
Unfortunate, so.
They didn't show it. I watched it when I watched it back. I don't even think they showed it live, but there is footage of it you can find. His coach comes in there. He's sitting on the stool because he got his rib hurt really bad in round 2. He's sitting on the stool. His coach is like, "Oh, you got to do this." He grabs his coach and yanks him towards him. And he says, "I can't breathe through my ribs." And his coach was like, "Well, then, we this is what we got to do. Basically go out there and start swinging, go ham on him." And I've never seen anybody manhandle their corner like that. He yanked his coach right up to his ear, and you can actually hear him. And if you're the coach and your guy tells you he cannot breathe, you've got to stop the fight. This is not he's going to go out there and he's going to get damaged. He tried to say it so his court they couldn't hear it, but at the same time, you got to stop your fighter from hurting himself.
I don't know if you remember when we first talked about Tyrell Fortune and how I was impressed with when he was having striking success, but his coaches kept trying to push him to like wrestle, kept trying to push him to like do takedowns. And I said, I hate the direction that his corner gives him in the fight. I feel like he would have almost had a better fight if they weren't there.
Yeah.
I didn't watch this fight, but like based on what you're telling me, I feel like we're having the same issues.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good marriage between him and the coaching staff that he has in that corner.
It might not be going forward because
we might need to assess some things. Guys are leaving their camps to switch stuff up. Might be time for him to shift too. He's there. I think there's some talent, and again, a very shallow division. I had Kanaev winning, but that was based on me not thinking Tyrell Fortune would have the right strategy to go in there against him anyway. I didn't think he'd be outmatched necessarily, like physically or anything, but bad cornering is an issue. I feel like for some fighters, outside of their own fight IQ, you need the fight IQ of the people around you, and sometimes I feel like there is lack as well. I'll have to go back and watch that one a little bit more closely because I want to see that corner exchange.
And
but
it might be something you have to look up on YouTube and see because, like I said, during the broadcast of it, at least the watch back for the fight, it showed in between the first 2 rounds, but not between rounds 2 and 3. But the commentators did comment on it. It's something to watch because I think his corner should have been like, all right, we're calling it then, and they didn't. There was no point in him going back out there. They were just like, well, I guess you got to go ham.
Go out there and just turn up.
Yeah.
It's tough. But again, he has time to make it up at 18-4. It leans into that he will get opportunities. You know?
And Kanaev is good.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
He's got a strong
outside of the fight I've watched against him and Almeida, which was frustrating in the to say the least. I've seen him perform pretty well. So he could do a little something in that heavyweight division as well.
Yep.
This lightweight fight, I'm surprised that John Pork, aka Chanko, fights at lightweight. He looks so massive there. to me at least.
Yeah.
But he fights Damian Rzepke, known as the Butcher. He was 10-0. John Pork was
Mm-hmm.
9-0, and it was one-way traffic. I feel for Damian as an undefeated guy coming into the UFC,
Yeah.
having that be his debut fight. But the man is durable, tough as nails. I've
Durable.
spoken at
Yep. He's
nauseum to you
game.
off camera about the durability of Damian,
Yeah.
because somebody might have had some financial benefit to this guy going to sleep against Chanko. And I'm still not upset at how I picked that fight. You could, again, go check on Red Verdict MMA. I'm off from Kicking Post. And I had it being finished, I think, in the third round, potentially. And Chanko put a lot of damage on this dude.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to bring attention to is something that I feel like has always been underutilized in fighting, especially. And I always talked about, like, on the ascension of John Jones, just the ferocity of his elbows, especially those short
Mm-hmm.
elbows. Chanko's bringing it back.
Yeah.
Chanko's bringing elbows back, because in these small exchanges, in these small grappling exchanges, when he's against the fence and you think Damian has the positive, like, position in that exchange, you're seeing these very short and powerful, swift spinning elbows.
Mm-hmm.
And Chanko caught him with like 3 or 4 of those in the clinch. Very powerful. Rocked him with at least 2 of those. He utilizes those very well. I would like to see his hands be a little bit more accurate. I feel like there were moments where he had him hurt and he did not really put the shots where they needed to go to get him out of there. The kicks are very effective. He's a very, I'd say, strong kicker. Has a good base, throws it very well. As I was telling Roger again off camera, he fed Damian some toes pretty aggressively, kicked his mouth guard out, and he worked him. And I would like to say this also, though. The next Damian fight I see, I'm on board.
Yeah.
He is so durable, and they gave him a very difficult guy to fight in that first fight. If he gets another debutant, I might be on the Rzepke side, because the dude, even in moments, at least especially round 1 and 2, even while he was stunned or hurt, he threw some stuff that hit Chanko, and Chanko didn't necessarily get hurt, but he had to think and reconsider how he was going to approach the fight. That's a lot of the reason he couldn't get Damian out of there, is that he was still very dangerous throughout the fight when he took damage. So I'm impressed by both guys still, even though I watched Damian take a beating for a lot of that fight. I just think Chanko could already be a pretty big player in that top 15 if they were to give him somebody at the back end of that top 15 in the lightweight division. So I was impressed with what I saw. What did you see?
Well, the Butcher in the first round, there was some scores coming back. I was watching from just fans saying that a lot of them thought he took that first round against Chanko. He had a lot of times where he's holding him against the fence. He was so that first round, aside, Chanko did have pretty dominating performance. I question his wrestling. I question, even with the camp he comes out of. And listen, that camp is great when your name is Makhachev and Nurmagomedov. Some of the other guys have not gone out there and done the same thing, especially with the grappling.
Yes.
Whether it be that they didn't have the same, Makhachev has been with Khabib for a really long time. Some of these other guys, probably not so long. There was a fight earlier with one of their guys, and he didn't look as good on the grappling either. So I think it's a little too soon to call out Ilya.
Yeah, people are forgetting.
But
to speak to Kalshi a little bit, not to cut you off, not a sponsor. They have who's going to hold the lightweight belt at the end of 2026 as a market that you could predict, because it's a prediction market app, right?
Yeah.
And Ilya at the beginning of last week was at a 1% chance. They had like not enough volume in that prediction market to really bet that, but I was going to put substantial money on it. Now it's up to 11%. I still think that's too low. The disrespect has gone a little bit far. We forgot the dominance that was there before that Gaethje fight, and people just think like he's done.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should write him off like that, but anyway, back to you. Because if we're talking Chanko Ilya, after this
Yeah,
man was like
I
that.
I don't think Chanko gets that fight right away, but I do think top 15 is
Oh yeah,
not
top 15
out
is
of
where he should go.
line
Yeah.
with the height that he came in with the experience he has striking, and the competition that he's faced in the past with just the striking. What worries me is his grappling, which could be easily fixed in the camp that he's in. And I'm not saying it's bad. What I'm saying is it worries me because he seemed to have quite a hard time getting off that fence. And I mean, keep in
Damien
mind,
has some moments too.
He's got a
where he got him
professional
down.
fighter on him. So it's going to be difficult to get off the fence. But coming from that camp, you kind of expected a little bit more. At least I did. So we'll see how that goes going forward. I don't think you jump him up to top 5 anybody. I think you right outside the top 15 is fine. If you wanted to go top 15, I wouldn't be mad at that. But let's, see what he has. I don't know how old he is. He's game to fight anybody though. So
there's
him up
definitely
there.
some matchups. I would be enticed by a Rafael Fiziev versus Chanko, something in that realm. You know what I mean? But I agree. I've just got to speak in defense of Ilya a little bit, right? Like guys shouldn't be calling that name already. Ilya Paddy, I feel like is all but written.
They ought
a couple months from now. To be the next up for the Gaethje fight, because if Paddy's already saying he needs one more, then I'm sure Gaethje's already saying like I'm not fighting Ilya again until he proves right. Like it. Yeah. To me, that's enough shaping up that we'll see Ilya Paddy either in Liverpool or Ilya Paddy in Spain as the first card. I think to go to Spain is what it would be.
Yeah.
Which sign me up. I'm all about that one.
Absolutely.
Steve Erceg versus Ramazan Timarov. I give my friends credit when they're right. I do want to call a friend of mine out a little bit, which I'm not going to necessarily say he's wrong all the way, right? But we were talking about this fight in the chat, and I didn't go in as deep of like why I thought it would work out this way, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit more here. Timarov's quick. Timarov's powerful. Timarov has a athletic advantage over Steve Erceg. The last guy who was quick and had an athletic advantage over Steve Erceg was Odi Osborne. Odi Osborne looked phenomenal in comparison to his previous fights against Steve Erceg. For that reason, I thought Timarov would be way too much of an athletic challenge for Steve Erceg. He was too much of an athletic challenge for Steve Erceg. That's all she wrote. He did what he did very well. Started the fight off very explosively. And that kick that put him against the fence to start off, I was like, this is writing already a very bad tale. Right? And Erceg tried, but when you engage with someone who's that much more athletically gifted than you are, even though he's shorter, it spells trouble. It spells trouble. I had Timarov by finish, I think in the first round on maybe second on Verdict MMA. You guys could fact check me on that. But in the fight, even like in the first like 15 seconds, he was texting like Steve Erceg is the better striker. This is gonna be a problem for Timarov or something like that. And I think I kind of sticking my chest out a little bit after Timarov put him to sleep. I was like, better strike that. You can't. Sometimes the technique and all of that is beautiful, and it's great, right? But when the guy's just a 99th percentile athlete and he has probably like 99th percentile power at that weight, it's like him and Cop for that like knockout power at that size. It's difficult. It's difficult to deal with. I have my own takes on somebody being, I don't remember what he got popped for but being able to just come back and fight after getting popped for whatever.
Oh, did he get popped for something?
He got popped for
Timarov?
something. That's why he was gone for a year and some months.
Okay.
Right. And then I see him come back and be that powerful. I'm going to ask questions.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Why is Mighty Mouse Jr. I'm not gonna call him that. That's disrespectful. But why is the mini Asu Amabayev, which is crazy? They're both from the same area. They're both in the same weight class, I think. But he's so much smaller, I feel like, than Amabayev, height wise.
Yeah.
Why is he such a power puncher? Why does he have dynamite in his hands? And if you get popped for something, I'm gonna question that a little bit. It might not be right for you, but that's how I feel. I think you could ascend him in that flyweight conversation. Top 10 for sure. There's somebody at the back end of that you could give him immediately. I don't even remember where Urseg was, but
you could definitely he was back at the top 10.
Yeah, you could give him some stronger comp and see what happens. Because when the skill gap, I guess, opens up a little bit more, but the athletic gap closes, I'd like to see how he performs. But yeah, amazing performance. Quick day at the office.
He was number 10, it looked like.
Yeah, so you could give him like I don't remember who's at 7 or 8, but you could give him a jump in competition. And I'd be about that.
Let's see. Oh, hold on, wrong one. Okay. Timarov is now ranked number 7.
Jeez Louise. All right, so he's right in the mix.
On his, yeah. So, I mean, you're looking at Loner Kavanaugh's number 6. That'd be a crazy fight. Almabayev is 5. Are they in the same camp?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Hiraguchi is right behind him. Amir Albazi would be a good fight for him. He's down at 9. And then you got poor Royval. He's going to end up fighting Timarov.
Yep.
It's going to be Royval against Timarov.
We got to put flyweight strongest. Yep. We got to put flyweight strongest soldier out on the chopping block again.
It's going to be Royval versus Timarov. It's going to be the next fight. Calling it now.
I'm not disagreeing.
Can you bet on that on Kalshi or whatever? Do they even call it betting on Kalshi? I don't know.
It's prediction markets, man. It's different.
Prediction. Oh, it's not. So this is more like stocks.
It's yeah.
Same difference.
You have to have enough juice in the market to be able to predict. Because I didn't bet on Timarov by KO in Alabama. I predicted Timarov by KO in Alabama. Okay. Oh, that's the difference, man. There's percentages, not odds. It's completely different. Okay. Percentages, not odds. Yeah. 24% chance that he'd knock out Urseg. Not odds. Right? But yeah, like flyweight strongest soldier, man. Royval probably will have to face the music against Timarov.
He's gonna have to fight Timarov next.
And I feel for him. Because you're probably protecting Kavanaugh a little bit off of that. You don't want him to slide too far. He's still young. Horiguchi just got KO'd. You could really put him on the chopping block if you want to because he's older. I don't think they have any interest in him being the champ.
But they got interest in Japan.
They have interest in Japan, but they have their young Japanese guy.
Yeah, they have Tyra.
If anything, they could do a Timarov versus Horiguchi. And if Horiguchi gets KO'd, it's Horiguchi on the B side against Tetsuro Taira, and then you take that to Japan.
What about a return fight for Pantoja?
Against Timarov?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that. I feel like that's a little bit disrespectful to the guy. I mean,
you're going to put him in a title contention fight his first time back. I mean, I guess
or give him cop.
Would, but
I think you should be giving Pantoja cop. Who's at 3?
Well, I think when he comes back, he'll probably get that rematch with Van.
I'm saying if he doesn't get the rematch. I thought you were saying he has to have one before he gets the rematch.
Oh, no, I mean, he doesn't have to have one. I just think one of those, when you've been out, coming back from an injury, it's better to have one.
Yeah.
And I mean, this guy's sitting at number 7. He's not
Yeah.
top 5. I
No,
mean,
I hear you. I believe personally, if he's not the rematch, I would want him to get somebody who, if they win, gets the title shot. And I don't want to see Timurov elevated into a title shot off of beating Pantoja. That's
gotcha.
all. So if it's
I
not going to
mean,
be like a cop, I'd want to see it be who's at 3? I don't know if
Royval.
you told me. Royval?
Royval. Mhm.
Give it to Royval, man.
Royval
Like
Pantoja.
if you're going to give him a comeback fight, give that to Royval so
Yeah.
that there is baked in like, hey man, you looked the best against Van so far. You
Yeah.
actually gave him trouble for 3 rounds. Who knows what happens if it goes into 4th and 5th? I think he gets knocked out. But who knows what happens if he goes into the 4th and 5th? You guys had one of the most exciting fights in flyweight history.
Mm-hmm.
Not even an argument, right?
Yeah.
You guys could run that back for the belt. It gives Royval some incentive to take on somebody so dangerous. And for Pantoja, run that back against. Didn't he fight Royval before? I feel like he did and beat him.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Run that back. You know, if you beat him and you look like yourself, immediately get Van. It makes the most sense for me, right? But if we like what we saw in Temerov, you give him Pantoja, he's gonna jump the line because he's explosive too. He does what Manel Cop does, but like it looks so insane when he does it.
Dude, if you put Timurov against Cop tomorrow,
Yeah,
I'm picking Timurov.
Really? Sheesh. Okay.
Only because of one factor.
Mm-hmm.
The aggressiveness of Timurov.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting that Manel Cop can flatline him as far as, just
Power
put
and
him
stuff,
on the
yeah.
ground, right? But the aggressiveness that Timurov throws, I think the more punches you throw, the more striking at that with that much power, the more likely it is that you're going to get that victory.
I agree.
If you're telling me that Cop is going to throw 5 shots in a minute and Timurov is going to throw 30, I'm going with Timurov.
No, for sure.
And that's my only thing. It's not that Cop can't win. It's not that he doesn't have skill. It's that he does not seem to be as active
Yeah, he seems to be a lot more
as
patient.
Timurov.
You're right.
So more efficient, but I think the sheer number thrown is in Timurov's favor.
Very exciting fight,
Yeah.
but I wish that was the main event because the Kuskov Ankalaev fight. I mean, same thing from the Duplessis Usman. What's it called? Main event. No fighter did themselves favors with that. Like
No.
Guskov was obviously on short notice, but Ankalaev has been accused of being a very boring light heavyweight, especially this back half of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked very boring. It was
Yeah.
probably one of the more boring TKO fights we've had. People argue that the stoppage was terrible. A lot of people are like, even though it was terrible, we're glad they got the fight ended early. And Ulberg sat back and watched and was like, okay.
Yeah.
He even had Ulberg playing Dana and setting up what fights should happen next. He posted on his story that he wanted to see, I think, Ankalaev versus Yuri and Roundtree versus, I don't remember who he put in that spot. And that those two winners should fight each other, and then he'll come back and fight them next year after his knee repairs. I wish I
Next
could
year.
Yeah, I mean he's dealing. Well, it's an ACL tear. Like he won't be back till probably early next year.
When are they going to strip him?
They're not. It doesn't seem like. I think he's trying to say like
interim.
Yeah, I think they might do like an interim, and then he's saying he would fight them when he comes back. Realistically, who are you stripping him to give a belt opportunity to? We're talking about how lackluster heavyweight looks. Light heavyweight's not far behind.
No, it's not. Ankalaev has the most wins in light heavyweight division right now at 12.
Yeah.
12 wins.
Yeah.
Gets you the most wins of active fighters in light heavyweight history.
Yes.
Or not history, but current light heavyweights. 12 wins. There's not a lot of experience.
The most exciting. Oh yeah, I remember who he said he wanted Roundtree versus Costa, and I think Yuri versus Ankalaev, and then
Dang, they
whoever
threw
wins.
Costa up there real fast.
I mean, how could you not? It's so light. Like, I'm not
I
gonna lie
mean,
to you. Costa, based on how he
take advantage
performed,
if you're Costa.
yeah, based on how he performed and how he looks at light heavyweight, keep ascending.
Hmm.
Bobby Knuckles, he's trying to be patient because his boy is the champion. So, I don't think patience is the virtue. If I'm Bobby Knuckles, I follow the Bobby Knuckles mantra of getting that interim belt. Try to
Yeah.
get there as quick as possible, and then if you want to like relinquish the opportunity to fight for the real belt, um, or something, I don't know how you'd go about that if Alberg came back. But even Bobby Knuckles at light heavyweight gives me a little bit more reasons to get excited than an
Yeah.
Ankalaev at this point, than a Guskov who looked very terrible. Roundtree's always hurt, you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of the other guys are very chinny or fight with very like reckless IQ, right?
Yeah.
Um, so you have the calculated middleweights who are just getting a little bit past the point of cutting,
Hmm.
who've been in that top 10, who've had to fight more skilled and quicker, and
Yeah.
um, they're going to be a problem for a lot of the light heavyweights that have just been kind of banking on power and their version of quickness. When
Yeah.
these guys are actually quick, Costa is actually quick,
Yeah.
Knuckles actually quick, right? So, and we haven't even seen Rainier really step foot yet. He has his light heavyweight debut coming, and he's going to look a lot more quick light heavyweight than he did at middleweight, with the
Yeah.
same kind of awkward striking and length control, right? He's going to look a little bit more comfortable there. Um, so yeah, I'm not against getting these guys up there quick, especially Paulo Costa.
Yeah. And he's
I
sitting at
need it.
number 4 in the rankings.
I need the fresh blood. I need it, right?
Yeah.
Um, I'm not going to use it to propel into the next conversation yet, but based on what happens in this next main event, or co-main, I should say, uh, could also add a little bit of like stuff to the potion of what goes on
Yeah.
in that light heavyweight. I have my take on it. I'm sure you'll have your take on it, but the light heavyweight division needs it, or
Yeah.
it's going to start getting that same moniker heavyweights getting,
Yeah.
where we just need the guys to come in and kind of rack
Yeah.
up a couple, and there's a belt shot for them, right?
Yeah. Ankalaev Guskov, I didn't even watch the fight. And I'm going to tell you why I didn't watch the fight. I had to wake up early the next morning
Mhm.
and be at work super early, but I did look and it was going on, but I was trying to fall asleep. And as I laid there and couldn't fall asleep, and I laid there and I couldn't fall asleep, I looked at the live blog. Um, Jed Meshew, he writes for MMA Fighting. He wrote the best live blog I've ever read. If you have not read it, it is the funniest,
I need to go back.
probably most accurate. I sent you part of it, but even going through round 5, it is. I say it's accurate. I didn't actually see the fight, but I could just feel how boring the fight was to watch. I was like, I'm not even going to waste my time on it.
It would have helped you fall asleep, from what it sounds like.
It probably would have helped me fall asleep. I probably should have turned it on.
You probably should have turned it.
Anyway, Jed Meshew, good live blog. Had me rolling for a little bit. That's probably what kept me awake. Was just his live blog of how boring the fight was and how torturous it was to watch. So I actually did not go back to see that. Ankalaev has traditionally been a boring fighter in the past. Guskov
He
has not. So,
Yeah.
but it sounds like he turned Guskov into a boring fighter.
He
But
turned him.
boring fighter or not, you got to beat him. And if you can't beat him, Ankalaev is still right up there, and I think he'll get an interim shot against someone. Because you got to beat him, and nobody
Yeah.
outside of Pereira has been able to.
Very frustrating. Super frustrating.
Yeah, some of these boring guys that's the way to win.
And I understand it's about winning the fights at the end of the day, but if you don't have a belt, you don't get to a belt by being boring.
Right.
Right? So, I don't know. I ain't gonna harp too heavily on it. I do have a couple fights from this next card I want to talk about. An Alexander Rakic debut at heavyweight. I against Marcin Tybura. I've seen
Mhm.
how he fights, especially his last fight against well, not last fight. The last fight I watched him intently, which was
Mhm.
against Yuri. He's a he's an orbiter of chaos. He loves to get in there and just throw. I don't want to say caution to the wind, but pretty much.
Mhm.
And Tiberi at this point in his career, I don't think can handle somebody with that speed and ferocity. I think we'll see Rakic kind of jump into the heavyweight scene and kind of make a splash, add his name to the mix there. Um, there is a Robert Valentin Todorovic fight. There's Vlasto Chepo, who is a KO machine, fighting
Yes.
Gilbert Urbina. Gilbert Urbina has also been ferociously KO'd recently.
Yes.
I
So
think
Valesto is the guy I was saying who
who
looks
looks
like
scary. Yeah, he looks like a
a
serial
fight.
killer.
He
Yeah.
looks like he walked right out of the jailhouse and he's me fighting. And he is a brawler.
Mm-hmm.
He just wings punches at him. He is there to be hit. I don't think Urbina is going to hit him.
No, Urbina's gonna
But
get caught.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see this going past the first minute. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I backed Urbina before, but you put this guy in here who he's gonna, the old oh my gosh, why is his name going out of my head right now? Um, Heavyweight UFC way back in the day, ended up 205 and fought Anderson Silva, got kicked straight in the face at middleweight. Um, Legend of the sport. Name right out of
Iceman?
my head. Brazilian guy.
Nogueira? No, I'm
No.
just talking.
Um, oh my gosh. I can't believe it.
Fights karate?
No, no, no. It's not. No. Oh my gosh. Um, Golly. He was a legend back in the early ones and he kept going, but he was real young. Came out real young, just and then kept fighting. He's the one with the TRT, you know?
Oh,
You
I
know
know who
who
you're
I'm
talking
talking
about.
about.
I
The
know who you're
Mohawk
talking about.
lives in South Florida now or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
Belfort. His son
yeah,
plays
Vitor
quarterback. Yeah.
Belfort. I cannot believe his
Yeah.
name just
Vitor
right
Belfort.
out of my head. He swarms guys like Vitor used to. Um, so I think he's got this fight against Urbina. Um, and then there's a good prelim fight, the main event for the prelims, and then the first fight opening up is going to be good.
I think
Janic.
Jovan Leka Popek will be a quick one too. Those heavyweights get after it.
Mhm.
You said wait, who you said which ones? Rebecca and Propolek, obviously very good.
Yeah.
Um, I think Michael
Um,
Oliveira, Oban Elliott will be good as well.
yes.
Oliveira is kind of a finishing specialist, also. Um, but the main
Ludovic
one,
Klein
yeah,
and Tofik is going to be a good fight. I got Klein in that one.
I am rooting for Klein because the last time I watched Tofik, he was committing all the atrocities of like,
Yes.
yeah, and I'm surprised you're not riding with Tofik because you like that crap. You like the grabbing of the
Listen,
fence. You like all the little on the edge. Oh, it's illegal, but is it really illegal if you
right.
don't punish me? Ha 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 ha. That's you. That's what you
Look,
like for the fight. Why don't you rock with Tofik Messiah?
it's not that I don't rock with him. It's that I just think Klein's going to beat him.
And I'm rocking with
I,
Klein because I do
I
want
just
Klein to
think
beat him.
I just think Klein has the striking skills. Now, if Tofik gets in there and starts utilizing his wrestling, um, Tofik is probably going to win this. But I think Klein's going to be too much for him. And that's why I'm going with Klein. It's not a personality thing. It's that I just think Klein's going to win the fight.
Well, I'm gonna give you who I think is gonna dominate and be too much for him.
Okay.
Jan Blachowicz versus Sterling. I'm
Who's
very
going to be
big.
too much for who?
Jan's gonna be too much for Sterling, and here's why. I am still not impressed with Navajo Sterling's finishing ability or like ferocity in
Mm-hmm.
terms of how athletically gifted he is against the guys he's fought so far. I think his fight IQ is still a little bit questionable at this point in his career.
Mm-hmm.
He's also taking this fight on short notice. That tells me one of two things. Either he's going to come in there and be a ball of fury, which he has never done before, or he's going to be a little bit too measured in how he fights Jan. Jan could get ahead on scorecards very quickly if that is the case. Jan is a very savvy vet. And also, Jan has beaten somebody from City Kickboxing already.
Yep.
Somebody who I think is a little bit more skilled and has better fight IQ. Granted, he was a lot smaller.
Yeah.
But My only thing that I'm worried about is how stationary will Jan be in this fight? Will he be there to be hit? Because he's coming off of a knee injury. Apparently, he had a torn meniscus and got it repaired months ago and is already back fighting. Definitely gives
Okay.
me reason to pause. Him being 43, Navajo being younger. The odds have Jan at plus 250.
Yeah.
That seems crazy for a guy who hasn't really lost to like an upcoming prospect in like the last 6 years.
Yeah. He did go to a draw with Guskov,
Okay.
but he didn't lose it.
He didn't lose it. And
Yeah.
at this point in both people's careers, Guskov just is fighting top end guys and putting guys out. So I am on the Jan Blachowicz side. I think I have Jan Blachowicz by decision because I think it's a 3-round fight, which also plays into this. I
Yeah.
think Jan could fight a very calculated 3-round fight and sneak this decision out. Um, and honestly, he might still have that power. And Sterling didn't have the most impressive performance. I think his last fight out, did he?
Yeah. Oh,
I
he
don't
got a
remember.
knockout.
I don't remember
Or
who he fought.
he fought Ian, the
Kutuleba,
Incredible Hulk
right?
guy. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so he decisioned his first, I think, 3 fights in the UFC
Mhm.
were decision wins.
Yeah.
And then his last one was a TKO in the second. And then the one before that was also a TKO in the second. It was not against the same competition.
No.
But he's starting to get some TKOs in there. He's getting more comfortable.
This is the biggest jump in competition I think he's had.
It is definitely the biggest jump in competition that he's had.
And I haven't been floored by the fight IQ still. And it goes back to the same thing though. Am I going to pick just because he's athletically better than Jan at this point to beat
Mhm.
Jan? I think the athletic gap is not wide enough compared to the fight IQ gap. And I don't think he has the ferocity of those guys who are super athletic to just go out there and impose that very early and
Yeah.
get Jan out of there.
I just don't know that Jan's going to be able to stay up
I hear you.
with somebody along
That's
with
why he's plus
Sterling.
250.
He is. This one I've gone really back and forth on. Um, this has some really hard fights to pick on it with some of
Mm-hmm.
these. This Blachowicz fight is pretty tough. I've actually got Navajo Sterling winning this fight. But there is a world that is very real where Jan Blachowicz finishes him.
I can see it.
Um, I
I can see it.
It's really hard. Like if you force my hand and say who's going to win this fight, I'm going to go with Sterling. I'm not very confident in that, but I am going to go with Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Blachowicz. I want to see him get that title shot and get in that mix. And at 43 years old, and um, end up with maybe him and Ankalaev run it back or something like that. But and if he wins this fight, I mean, he's in that mix. How do you put him out of it? He's
You
number
can't.
4. He wins a fight. How do you put him out of it?
You can't.
So I'd like to see that for Jan, but if I have to pick a winner in here, I'm going with the younger guy, the more athletic guy. And I just think that he's probably going to be too much. Now, one I didn't touch on, but you did, was the Rakic Tybura fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Rakic has enough.
Okay.
I know Marcin Tybura, not very athletic. Just lost to Fortune. Um, Fortune's a pretty good size heavyweight.
Who fought that fight very terribly, I might add.
I mean, yeah. And he lost to Duplessis. So he's not on a winning streak by any means. I just don't believe in Rakic to be able to go up there and be a heavyweight in that division. And he might surprise me. I see all the points you made. I kind of agree with it. accept the idea that he's going to go in there and be in the mix in heavyweight. I just don't think he's got it like that. I think his last fight at light heavyweight, he was pretty much dominated by a guy who was pretty unathletic. And, he lost to Ankalaev. He lost to Yuri. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. And I just don't think he moves up to heavyweight and starts winning. So, from that perspective, I'm going to go with Marcin on that one.
It's a pretty big underdog, I think. So
He is.
yeah,
He is. Yeah.
I think to close out, we will agree on this one. Uros Medic versus Daniel Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
One guy's had a long layoff. Seems like not of his own accord. And another guy's on a 3-fight knockout streak.
Mm-hmm.
The Voya plays back, man. Medic first round. I think it's plus 135.
First round.
Medic first round,
Ooh.
plus 135. If it's by TKO, is what the odds are. And Medic first round is plus 115 if you think he's going to do it any other way. I'm sticking with the Voya play, man. I'm sticking with the Voya play. Hold on. Pause.
Okay.
Medic, Rodriguez. I believe personally that the exchange is going to happen quick because Medic doesn't waste time getting in there.
No,
I
he
watched
doesn't.
Daniel Rodriguez get hurt against Holland. I watched
Mhm.
Holland not necessarily employ the best fight IQ. Keep going back to fight IQ.
Yeah.
I think all that layoff leads to rust. I don't think he was doing much striking exchanges where he was experiencing his layoff. He might have been.
Mhm.
They do fight where he was, allegedly, right? But I think athletically, Medic is just so much faster. I think he's been a power puncher since he's gotten to that weight.
Yeah.
Main event in his home country, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be tough. He's trying to blow the roof off that house, and I
Yeah.
think just what he's been able to do his last few fights. Jeff Neal, even though I had my reservations about how that fight would work out for Jeff Neal, rightfully so, is good comp. And I think Rodriguez is a gritty like fighter, but that's a lot of power coming behind those Medic shots.
Yeah.
He could get hurt, and I think if he gets hurt, he'll get finished. And the next thing is, I think if he gets hurt enough, and there's a question on if he's in or out in Serbia as the main event, they will call it. I don't think they're going to give him much opportunity to recover in the first round if that first exchange leads to him getting hurt. Might be an early stoppage. Not trying to throw like any theories out there, but pretty much what I'm doing. I don't think they're going to give him an opportunity to recover. So, for that reason, Medic first round. I like Medic by KO is like minus 240. Not even worth placing money on, honestly, depending how you see it. Maybe as like a little parlay booster if you love it that way. Me personally, I'm going Medic under 1.5 rounds. That's like minus 130 if you want to be a little bit safer. But if you just want to go for the gusto or go for what you think is going to happen, which I'm probably also going to do, Medic first round to get Rodriguez out of there.
Well, so Rodriguez in the octagon, very durable.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Neal, also very durable. But
everybody's durable till they're not.
I mean, they are. I think first round is a little audacious on that.
Sure.
However, Medic is not going to hold back. He's going to go for it. And I think that layoff does not bode well for Rodriguez. So I'm actually going to agree with you on this. I do think he gets him. I do think he gets him out of the first round. I think the durability leads it to a longer fight than he normally does. So let's say 2 minutes into the first round, as opposed to 1 minute and 15
Yes.
seconds, maybe 3 minutes. I could see Daniel Rodriguez dragging this thing out and making it difficult for Medic. And if he does that, then the whole fight's up in the air because, fights can turn like that. If he can't knock out D-Rod in that first round, D-Rod could end up winning this by decision. With the long layoff,
It's a 5-round fight, man.
I don't see that happening.
No. He's gonna have to turn into D Rodriguezov for that to work out for him personally. Like, I don't think.
Well, I don't know though. I don't know. How much power comes off of Medic after if the first round doesn't go his way with a knockout? You look at past his last 3 fights, and he lost to Soriano by a KO. He lost to Arabi
too. Are those at middleweight though, or are those also at welterweight?
I think some of those are at middleweight.
Because I was about to say he came down, and that's when he's really been explosive. Because the power translates pretty aggressively since he's been fighting at welterweight.
But he's generally a round 1 fighter. Yeah. He's gone into the second round, to the third round, but he's generally a round 1 fighter. So when this is going, you're telling me this is a 5-round fight. He doesn't even have third round experience in the UFC.
It's not a 5-round fight. It's listed as such. They know it's not a 5-round fight.
What I'm saying is, if he gets out of that first round, if D-Rod gets out in the first round, throw out all the betting, all the not all the betting, but all those predictions of Medic winning this fight, just throw them out the window because you just don't know at that point. It's unmarked territory, especially if he gets out of the second round. This is unmarked territory.
I'd lean more that way. If he makes it out the first round without much damage, I think he still has enough juice in the tank for the second round to be dangerous for Rod, right? Now, if D-Rod does, because again, this is fighting. If D-Rod does cause some level of damage early, and switches up the game plan for Medic, a la a Justin Gaethje versus Ilya situation where he wears on him physically at some point, that saps energy too. We'll see. You're asking me to pick somebody for that. He's been in prison for a while, allegedly. Like, he wasn't in there, like, he didn't go to like Thailand and like hide away, stow away, train, get his mind right. He was gone and not practicing for a while. He should have fought Kevin Holland on his way back. They gave him one of the most dangerous welterweights right now.
They did.
In that person's home country, I should say, as a first fight back. That seems like the writing's on the wall for what they're hoping will happen.
And I wish it wasn't that way, because I think after Medic's last fight, I called for him to get D-Rod. I need to go check that podcast, but I think after Medic's last one, that I think I called for him to get D-Rod, but I did not know the situation D-Rod would be in coming back.
We didn't know. Nobody knew for a while.
Yeah. If you get D-Rod after his last fight, I think this is a different conversation, like right after, but that long of a layoff, I mean, it could do one of two things. It's going to make you cold in the ring, or it's going to make you hyper focused, and you just don't know. So you take that ability to be hyper focused, kind of 50-50 shot on which way his mind is, and nobody knows that but him. I mean, his trainers have an inkling, I guess.
Yep.
But you take the history of Medic, and this is probably two rounds or under for Medic. probably second or third minute in that fight. Um, Again, if it goes all 5 rounds, who knows? I don't see the conditioning for Rodriguez. How long's he been out?
Over
Has he
a
had
year.
enough time to build up that conditioning?
I don't think so.
I mean, what was he doing in prison? Did he have access to even build it up there? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I don't know the
Um,
routine, and
so all those unknowns, give me Medic in this
yeah,
one.
I'm definitely
So
taking Metis to win. Again, tune into Verdict MMA. Go on the app. I'm all from Kicking Post, and you'll see like fights that I've chosen, the round that I'm picking them to end in, or if it's decision. And you can kind of track with us. I think the main card starts at 11 a.m. Eastern on
mhm.
Saturday, so that sounds like a 10 a.m. main card for me. Prelims probably around like 8. I'm actually off
Yeah.
this Saturday, so I'll wake up,
Okay.
I'll make some breakfast, I'll enjoy some morning MMA, and
Yeah.
hopefully I'll be right on some of these picks again. Seeing as I'm sending you guys all to go check out my picks. Um, like I said on the pod, we're getting back to even on content being on both audio only, as opposed to just being on YouTube the last couple months. Sorry for the delay, but we're back.
Nice.
So hopefully you guys enjoy that. We'll be both visual and also audio only going forward, um, to get things right again. Thank y'all for listening. Thanks y'all for tuning in. Any closing thoughts, sir?
Not really. Looking for some good fights on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Some new people to watch. Couple of older people to see, do they still have it? And it's really a good mix of fighters in there. This isn't one where it's just new people and it's just older people. So you're gonna get to see a couple of them. There's a couple of young guys on here just coming in and making their debut.
Yes,
Um, and those fights look like they're going to be pretty good. And then August 15th, there's another big card. So that's going to be a
I
good
can't wait to
podcast
talk
to
about
tune
the
in
the
for that
press
one.
the press run for that one. Not to get too ahead, but I was on one side. I'm very quickly fading.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
very quickly fading. Yeah, too nauseating for me. Too nauseating for me. I'm sorry.
I'll have to hear
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, we'll have to talk about that, but I can't wait to cover that card. And they need to flesh that card out more. Allegedly,
Yeah,
there's some more fights that might be making its way on there. I don't know if you saw
this
anything on
late?
the news.
No,
Yeah, allegedly Michael Morales might be getting onto that card. So if that happens, that card looks a lot
bro.
better. If it doesn't happen, we're in for a pretty light card, I think. But we'll
Yeah,
talk about that when we get closer. Thank y'all again for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you on the next one or hear you on the next one. Peace.
later.
Yeah.